As some of our stocked up veterans will notice, our intro is back on the channel. So that's awesome to see. We have an extra special video today as we have an awesome announcement towards the end of the video. And of course, we're going to be covering all of the craziness that happened in the market today, especially with Nvidia, AMD, and a bunch of other stocks. And of course, we have a bunch of great setups for tomorrow as well. This video is one you will not want to miss. If you decide to watch one of our videos all the way to the end this week, make it this one. We have a lot of great stuff to cover. But Tom, we're not going to waste any time. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, the market really started to truck back to the upside today. We saw Nvidia have a fantastic move. Now, Mike, I know that we talked about this last night. Whenever we were talking about it on the live, it was looking like it was around 367 to 370 at that resistance. It actually ended up getting almost up to $400. We could say it basically touched it this morning with how close it got. I never expected Nvidia to go up this much here on earnings. Like if we go out to the daily chart, we can now see where that big gap is forming, and it's really starting to, poke above that last high that was around 345, 346. So I love that with Nvidia, Mike. We're getting a ton of momentum to the upside. It's actually carrying over into a ton of other stocks. AMD is moving up with this. MU's actually moving up. Microsoft had a pretty good day. Google is actually doing pretty well also. But we actually saw Intel have a pretty bad move today, Mike. They actually fell down. They're pretty good competitors with Nvidia, as we know. I know AMD is their competitor too, but it just goes to show like where the powerhouses are right now and where some of the laggers are. So Intel's really lagging behind, but man, that news with Nvidia's earnings and obviously with the subsequent continuations out of the other chip stocks, it's awesome to see, Mike. And there's a ton of ETFs out there that are following chips as well that are flying to the upside. And it's so good to see the market reacting so positively to this. And we saw so many huge trades in the Discord today. If you guys played Nvidia today, let us know in the comments down below how you did. I'd be interested to hear some of them.
Tom, I'll say this. It is a really bad day to be an Nvidia short seller. I was looking on Yahoo Finance today, and it came out that Nvidia short sellers lost around $2.3 billion today. $2.3 billion in losses in one day. Year to date, Nvidia short sellers are down over $8.1 billion. And just look at like the most recent week, Tom, their losses went from like horrible to like beyond horrible. So what a crazy move today. The price action that we're seeing with Nvidia and some of these other chip stocks is truly historic. Nvidia stock just blasted past all-time highs. And Tom, Nvidia is so close to joining the $1 trillion market cap club.
Yeah, it really is. That's awesome to hear. There's a bunch of other stocks that have been in the club before, like Tesla and this big list of stocks that are currently in there. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon. You can see the market valuations right here that I'm highlighting in blue. Nvidia, $951 billion, Mike. It's getting so close. If we could just get that big pop up above $400, maybe tomorrow or next week, maybe it'll join the club. But I don't know, Mike. I mean, that $400 area seems like a pretty big resistance, but that is fantastic news for Nvidia. I know a lot of people were talking about this one to the downside. I actually talked about possibly playing it down as well and decided against it. Thank God. Could you imagine, man, some people who had some puts for today, I mean, those would have went to zero faster than anything. But then again, the calls really exploded. I mean, we saw some crazy trades in the Discord. Shout out to a couple guys in there that were talking about some of their trades today. Those were fantastic. And man, Mike, it just, you don't see stuff like this every single day where a huge company like them rises up 24% and almost hits $1 trillion there. Like that is just huge. It almost reminds me of whenever Tesla had that euphoria with them as well in the past.
Exactly. So I was actually looking at some of the Nvidia options today, and like for example, the 400 strike call that expires tomorrow basically went from $5 on Wednesday at close, and it opened up around $900 this morning. So talk about some giant moves. It's safe to say that some fortunes were definitely made and lost today with Nvidia. So that was absolutely insane. insane. And I feel like a bunch of people are looking at Nvidia right now and saying, just feeling a sense of FOMO, like, I just missed this 25% move in one day, and people are trying to, get in on some of the action. Now, while Nvidia is already up 25%, we are seeing some awesome movement out of other chip stocks like TSM and, Micron and stocks like that aren't up 25% yet, but are also still having some pretty respectable moves. So I encourage people to take a look at like AMD, MU, and even like TSM.
Yeah, I'll tell you, TSM is very underrated. They're one of the bigger chip stocks. They were actually up 12%. Like, look at those huge moves out of them as well. I really like the setup right now in MU, Mike. I mean, there's a pretty good resistance at 70. It's actually looking like if we break above that, it could be a nice staircase back to the upside. So I'm loving these setups here. And talking about Nvidia, we had those big earnings with them, this morning. Obviously, Dollar Tree, a few other stocks tonight, Mike. Costco's reporting, and so far they were dipping down. Now they're coming right back to the upside. Maybe looks like they might, try to push up towards 500 if the positivity keeps in. But there's not really any other earnings for the rest of the week. And looking at the economic calendar here, there's not really a lot. I mean, we do have the unemployment rate and non-farm payrolls tomorrow, so keep that in mind. That could end up stirring up things a little bit. But I really feel like Nvidia right now is just taking the market by storm. It's just going to override, I think, a lot of these big events coming up, like the unemployment rate. So really watch Nvidia and these chip stocks tomorrow. It's going to be a wild ride, Mike. I'm really hoping that we can continue on the uptrend. But I will say with Nvidia specifically, this $400 resistance and the way it's like triple topping really close to here is kind of worrying me right now.
For sure. So I know there is a huge swarm of sellers overhead on Nvidia, especially at like that $400 level. It's pretty insane, as we could tell on Bookmap right now. There's a lot of selling pressure overhead in that side of things. But Tom, like in terms of like support, whether it's on Bookmap or even TradingView, what are you seeing for Nvidia? Like, let's say Nvidia dips down tomorrow, what are the levels to watch?
Yeah, so there's actually a few really big levels that I've been watching. So with Nvidia and after hours last night, while we were actually recording, Mike, it kept consolidating really close here to like this 368, 370 area. So I'm really going to watch that like 365, 366 support. If we end up falling under there, which was actually the low this morning, right at that wick, I think that we could actually look at some puts. I do think that Nvidia could actually fall down a little bit more. I don't think it's going to crash and burn, but I do think maybe like a retest of 350 could be in store here. It's just up too much right now in the short term, in my opinion. I feel like it'll at least get very volatile tomorrow, to say the least. There is some more close term supports as well, like right around 375, just above there, like right around 377, I guess you could say, is where those wicks are, give or take a couple dollars, of course, with a stock as volatile as this one. But those are some big supports that I'm going to watch, Mike. Overhead, though, like we said, that 394 to $400 area is going to be key. Like if we could break 400, I think that there's a big chance that this stock could go on a pretty good run again. But at the same time, I'm kind of leaning to the downside with just a slight pullback. I'm not saying it can't go up next week, but I just think that we'll see some consolidation.
Tom, you're going to enrage some of these people in the comments. How dare How dare you say Nvidia not to $500 by tomorrow?
I know, right? I wish I would say it, Mike. I mean, I wish it was actually setting up better, but man, with like all these rejections here, and with the way it's starting to fall down end of day, I have that weird feeling it might just go flat or just consolidate. But hey, keep in mind, it could maybe bounce off some of these lower supports and trade back up. So there's still a lot of opportunities intraday on it too.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens there. But let's get right into some setups for tomorrow. And it kind of piggybacks right off of Nvidia. And I'm actually looking very closely at MU. This is another chip stock. It has a lot of momentum to the upside from Nvidia. It was up around 5% today. We're just under that $70 resistance level. So honestly, if it breaks above that $70 resistance and there's like good momentum filled price action tomorrow, then I like it for a call play. But, also make sure that, the market is not getting destroyed. I shouldn't have to say this, but of course, make sure that there's just like good positive momentum overall, as it would make it that much easier for MU to run.
Yeah, and I really love the way this one closed here today, up around that resistance, and it's holding its ground well. So I really like MU, Mike. I think it'll be a great play for tomorrow. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier as well. I think it's great. Another one that I'm watching is actually Meta. Now, this one, I'm actually going to watch in both directions, but I feel like it could actually pull back a little bit. So with Meta, I'm going to watch for it to fall under 251.80, just under that wick here around the end of the day. That's been a pretty big level this week. There's been a lot of wicks, a lot of touches right around there. So if we end up falling under that, I will watch puts. Now, at the same time, if we're able to get back above intraday resistance right around like 254, then I'll go ahead and watch for some calls back to the upside. But I will say, though, Mike, I'm definitely leaning to the downside with how overextended a lot of these stocks are. And I'll just have to play how the momentum goes, though. Like you said, if the overall market is moving in the opposite direction, then you might just have to, change your plans a little bit.
Exactly. I think that just goes hand in hand with trading. It's like you can set yourself up in the best possible way, but at the end of the day, the market's going to do exactly what it wants, and it's up to you to adapt to that.
Yeah, exactly. So always be adaptive out there, guys. It's awesome. So watch Meta to the upside above 254. To the downside, I really like it below that 251.80 area. That's a pretty big area of support.
Good stuff. Another stock I'm watching is PayPal. This stock has had a horrible year. So right now it's lingering right under $60. Over the past year, it has highs of 103. And then when you zoom out, it's kind of nasty. It actually has all-time highs of 310. So it is far off from its all-time high, but it's also really oversold in the short term. So I am looking at this one for a play back up, but I will say this, if the market opens tomorrow and this stock is just getting destroyed, I'm not going to try and fight that momentum. Like what I'm looking for ideally is like the stock opens up, it holds some support, maybe like the $59 support, maybe the $58 support, and then it just shows signs of actually, moving back to the upside, right? I would love to see that. And if that's the case, I would definitely look at it for a play up for like a dip buy.
Man, this one is crazy on that daily chart, Mike. Like whenever you zoom out and you see it falling down here in the short term, that was a crazy close today down there under 60. I hope that it can start to form some support soon. But what I really feel like is that like this stock has had a big like dip to the downside here. Like I feel like we'll eventually come back up and test that, but it's just how long is this downtrend going to last? That's going to be the thing. And I really like this one for the longer term. I know that we've been talking about it quite a bit. Man, I know that we've been talking, we used to talk about banks a lot over the past few weeks, obviously, as they've had a lot of issues and, those regional banks have been failing a little bit. Bank of America actually had a pretty good move back up today. So I'm going to go ahead and watch this one. Has a pretty good upper resistance right around 28.25. If we're able to get above there, I'll go ahead and watch this one for some calls of the upside. I think that these banks might be in for a bit of recovery. They did okay today. And whenever I look across the board, they were all kind of bouncing off support. So I'm going to go ahead and watch these maybe back to the upside. It just seems like they're having some problems falling down right now.
Sounds good. All right. Well, with that being said, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have a AI stock, Palantir, to the upside.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Go ahead and make them break out above $13. That's a pretty good area there, right around the end of day.
All right, with the next one, we have TSM, also to the upside.
Yeah, TSM, love this stock. One of my favorites here, one of the better chip stocks out there. They had a pretty decent area, almost like a double top around 101.50. So if we're able to break above that, watch for some calls.
And with the last one, we have Coin to the downside.
COIN. I noticed this one falling down again. I was like, man, Bitcoin must be doing brutal right now. Go ahead and make them break below that double bottom right around 55.90.
All right, so we have that downside level on Coin. If it breaks below that, we're watching it for puts. And then don't forget about the upside levels on TSM and Palantir. If it breaks above those levels, we are watching them for calls. But it is now time for the big money trade of the day. We are looking at none other than FYBR. So this is Frontier Communications. It's a telecom company. It is very oversold in the short term. It's lingering right around $15 a share. It has like yearly highs around $30 a share. So it's off, basically by 50%. And the past like 6 months especially have been the most, I guess you could say, filled with selling pressure. It's been in like just free fall, honestly, ever since like February. So it's been pretty bad, but we're actually to the point where the stock is bouncing off the $15 support. So when you have it bouncing off the $15 support and someone dumping, $637,000 into the FYBR 15 strike calls that expire on June 16th of 2023. It's not a bad setup. The calls are right at the money, and honestly, the expiration's kind of soon.
Yeah, I actually like this one. I feel like it could really pop up in the short term. It's been like a jackknife to the downside. I would feel like maybe some shorts are covering down here, which could push the stock back up just along with buyers coming in as well. Man, it's pretty crazy to see this stock. We've been talking about stocks like Nvidia that have been up now like 200% since recent lows. Since recent highs, this stock's actually down like 50%. So definitely watch this, Mike. I think it could pop up over the next few days. And for anyone looking to play it, I really like the strike on it too. The 15 strike calls, it's right off that support. And man, it's hard to bet against the money on this one, especially on something like a communications company. You would think that they might be expecting a pop back up here. And you don't even have to get a crazy pop for this one to work out. Even a move like the 17 or 18 would be fantastic.
Tom, nowadays, all you have to do is mention something with AI and your stock will be up 50%.
Exactly, right? Frontier Communications, AI, telecom or something. Who knows? But either way, man, that reminds me of like Airtime International, Mike, from The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the market's at an interesting point right now. Nvidia and some of these chip stocks are just carrying the way. So it's pretty exciting. Tomorrow's going to be very exciting as we have a lot of, 0-day options set to expire while we're seeing crazy news out of these, very liquid stocks like Nvidia. So buckle up for tomorrow. But Tom, I think it's now time for our extra special announcement. This has been in the works for, I don't know, Tom, maybe 5 years. We took a little break for a while, but it is now time to officially unveil the Stocked Up merch. So if we go to the Stocked Up website, we can see we have some awesome hats, some great t-shirts for men and women. We have some awesome designs on there. We can see we have some with Stocked Up logos. We have a Big Stick Energy shirt. Oh, and this one we have an Inflation is Transitory shirt. Shout out to Jerome Powell. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. After all these years, they are now ready to order.
Yeah, I love them, Mike. I mean, hey, my favorite one's the Warren Buffett one. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. I love Warren Buffett as well, Mike. These shirts are awesome, guys. Check them out. We did a lot of research to get good materials and stuff like that into these. We've been doing this in the background for a long, long time. So let us know how you guys like them. Check it out. Check out the link down below. You guys will love it. And Mike, this is going to be a huge thing for the future as well. We'll be coming out with future designs and obviously releasing more and more stuff as time goes on. So be on the lookout, everybody. This is going to be awesome over the next couple of years.
Yeah, we're going to have quarter zips, hoodies, maybe even shorts, coffee mugs, a bunch of great stuff, maybe some posters as well. So we have a bunch of great stuff planned. And like Tom said, we've been working on this for forever. I literally cannot tell you how many different materials we tested to get the texture exactly how we wanted. So order up. We're also doing like an initial sale. So you can save around $5 a shirt right now. Normally they'll go for around $30 and right now they're selling for 25. So check them out. I would say my favorite one is actually the Inverse the Crowd one. I love that shirt. I've actually been wearing it all the time. So join up. Basically, it'll be that first link in the description in the comments down below and grab them while the sale's going.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Check it out. That sale won't be around forever. So definitely check it out in the short term. And like we said, bunch of opportunities for the future as well. And I'm sure this is going to go over very well. Check out the Discord link down below too. And hey, hop in there and let us know if you guys have any suggestions or anything like that.
There we go. Well, Tom, let's head over to the Discord to give a special shout out to today's member of the day, which is Big Bird. So you did awesome today with the Amazon put play from the bot. So you've been in the chat for around 2 years now, and you've been a great member the whole time. So you definitely deserve a shout out. So thanks for everything. Great job with Amazon today, and thank you for everything. Huge shout out to you. But Tom, we're set for a pretty exciting day tomorrow. Lots of good movement is happening. And do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
Yeah, these chip stocks are really going, guys. It's definitely a time to be trading. We haven't seen stocks boom up like this in a long, long time. It was a brutal 2022. So far for some of the tech stocks, 2023 has been fantastic. So keep your eyes on especially MU. I really like that play for tomorrow, guys. I think that triple top, if that breaks, it's going to be a fantastic one.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to check out the Stocked Up merch. It's finally released, so check it out while the sale lasts. And besides that, let's have an amazing end to the week.